Your PS5 is hiding a ridiculous number of high-quality games that don't cost a single dollar, and most players never give them a real shot. Free-to-play still has a bad reputation, but that mindset is seriously outdated. These aren't shallow demos or cash grabs. These are full-scale games with massive communities, years of updates, and gameplay deep enough to keep you busy for hundreds of hours. So today, let's break down the top 10 best free-to-play PS5 games that are absolutely worth your time. Alright, let's get the obvious one out of the way, Fortnite. And yeah, I know, Fortnite in 2026, but hear me out, because this game refuses to die for a reason. Fortnite isn't just a battle royale anymore. It's basically a platform. You've still got the classic mode, but Zero Build completely changed things for people who hated the sweaty side of the game. Suddenly, it's all about gunplay, positioning, and awareness, and that alone pulled a ton of players back in. Then Epic started expanding it even further. LEGO Fortnite is a full survival experience with crafting and exploration. Rocket Racing adds an arcade racer into the mix, and Festival turns Fortnite into a rhythm game. On paper, that sounds messy, but in practice, it works surprisingly well. But what really keeps Fortnite alive is how aggressive the updates are. New seasons don't just mean a few balance tweaks. The map changes, mechanics rotate, and the game constantly feels different. It never sits still long enough to get stale. On PS5, it runs exactly how you want it to. Fast loading, smooth frame rates, and clean visuals. And the flexibility is the real win here. You can sweat in ranked, chill in Zero Build, or just mess around with friends without feeling forced into one playstyle. It's free, it's massive, and whether you like it or not, Fortnite still earns its spot. Now, this one might have flown under the radar for some people, where wins meet. But if you're into stylish combat and open-world exploration, this game is absolutely worth your time. Set in ancient China during the Five Dynasties period, where winds meet, blends martial arts combat, RPG progression, and open-world freedom into something that feels different from the usual free-to-play lineup. The combat is the real highlight here. It's fast, flashy, and skill-based, mixing swordplay, martial arts techniques, and special abilities that make every fight feel cinematic. Exploration is another strong point. The world is dense, full of side activities, secrets, and story-driven quests that actually encourage you to slow down and explore instead of just chasing objectives. It feels more like a traditional single-player RPG than a typical live service game. On PS5, the game shines. Smooth performance, sharp visuals, and quick load times that keep you immersed in the world. And while it's free to play, it doesn't immediately shove monetization in your face, which is a huge win. It's not trying to be the next big competitive multiplayer hit, and that's exactly why it stands out. If you want a free PS5 game that feels ambitious, cinematic, and different, where wins meet definitely earns its spot. Alright, let's talk eFootball. Because yeah, this one comes with baggage, but it's also way better than most people give it credit for. When eFootball first dropped, it was rough. No way around it. But fast forward to now, and Konami has quietly rebuilt this into a genuinely solid, free-to-play football game. The gameplay is slower, more deliberate, and more realistic than what you'll find in EA Sports FC. Positioning matters, timing matters, and you can't just spam skill moves and sprint your way through defenses. The biggest draw here is Dream Team. You build your squad, sign real-world players, and take them online in competitive matches. And while there is monetization, you can absolutely build a strong team without spending money if you're willing to put in the time. On PS5, eFootball feels clean. Animations are smoother, player movement feels more natural, and matches run at a steady frame rate that makes the moment-to-moment gameplay feel responsive. It's not flashy, but it's solid where it counts. This isn't the arcade-style football game for everyone, but if you want a free-to-play option that leans more toward realism and rewards smart play, eFootball earns its place on the list. Master Duel is one of those games that sounds niche until you actually play it and realize how deep the rabbit hole goes. This isn't nostalgia bait or some simplified Yu-Gi-Oh! Side mode. It's the real thing. Full rule set, modern card pool, and combos that can get absolutely out of control if you don't know what you're doing. Every duel is about timing, reading your opponent, and knowing when to commit or when to back off. What really sells Master Duel is how flexible it is. You can spend hours in solo mode learning decks and mechanics, or jump straight into ranked where every match feels like a mental chess match. And yeah, games can end fast, but that just makes decision-making even more important. On PS5, it's clean and fast. Menus don't lag, duels load instantly, and the animations add height without dragging things out. It respects your time, which is huge for a card game. It's still free to play, and while monetization exists, you're not locked out of competitive play if you don't spend money. Smart crafting goes a long way. If you want a free PS5 game that's more about outthinking your opponent than outgunning them, Master Duel deserves the attention. Alright, let's talk Apex Legends. Because even after all these years, no other free-to-play shooter feels quite like it. At its core, Apex is still the smoothest battle royale on the market. The movement is elite. Sliding, climbing, ziplining, wall bounces, everything feels fast and intentional. Gunplay is tight. Recoil patterns matter, and winning fights actually feels earned instead of random. What really separates Apex from other BRs is the legend system. Each character brings unique abilities that actually change how you approach fights. Whether it's aggressive pushes, defensive setups, or full-on support play, team composition matters way more here than in most shooters. Yeah, the game has had its rough patches, balance issues, server complaints, questionable matchmaking, but Respawn keeps it alive with constant updates, new legends, rotating maps, and seasonal changes that shake up how the game is played. On PS5, Apex runs smooth at high frame rates with fast load times, and that responsiveness matters in a game this movement heavy. When everything clicks, Apex feels incredible. It's not the most casual battle royale, and it definitely demands skill. But if you want a free-to-play shooter that rewards mastery, teamwork, and raw mechanics, Apex Legends still earns its place. Delta Force isn't trying to be flashy, and that's exactly why it works. This is a straight-up tactical military shooter built around large-scale maps, squad play, and grounded gunfights. No heroes, no ultimates, no cartoon chaos, just positioning, communication, and knowing when to move and when to hold your ground. Matches feel closer to battlefield-style warfare, but tighter and more focused. Vehicles matter, squads actually matter, and running off solo usually gets you wiped fast. It rewards patience and smart play way more than raw twitch reflexes. One of the biggest surprises is how good the gunplay feels. Weapons have weight, recoil is manageable but punishing if you're sloppy, and firefights don't instantly end in half a second. You actually get time to react, reposition, and outplay people. On PS5, Delta Force runs smooth and looks clean without trying to melt your console. Load times are quick, frame rates stay steady, and the scale of the map still feels impressive when everything kicks off at once. It's not a game for everyone. If you want constant action and non-stop kills, this might feel slow. But if you miss tactical shooters that respect teamwork and realism, Delta Force hits a lane most free-to-play games don't even try to touch. Wuthering Waves comes in quiet and then absolutely flexes once you actually start playing. At first glance, yeah, people will compare it to Genshin, open world, anime style, gacha systems. But the moment combat clicks, you realize this game is doing its own thing. Fights are faster, heavier, and way more skill-focused. Dodges, parries, counters. You're actively engaged, not just cycling abilities on cooldown. Movement is a huge part of it too. Wall running, grappling, fluid traversal. Getting around the world feels good, not like filler between objectives. Exploration actually rewards curiosity, whether it's hidden fights, puzzles, or lore tucked into the environment. Where Wuthering Waves really stands out is tone. The world feels more grounded and moody, with a darker sci-fi edge that gives it personality. The story takes itself seriously, and the soundtrack does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to atmosphere. On PS5, it runs smooth, looks sharp, and benefits big time from fast load times. Combat feels responsive, which matters when timing and precision are part of the design. Yeah, it's still a free-to-play gacha at the end of the day, but if you want one that rewards mechanical skill, not just menu management, Wuthering Waves earns its spot by doing more than the bare minimum. Valorant is like the love child of Counter-Strike and Overwatch. Precise, tactical, and merciless if you're not paying attention. At its core, it's a team-based shooter where every round counts. But that's exactly why it's so satisfying. Gunplay is tight, abilities feel meaningful, and positioning matters as much as aim. This isn't a game where you can carry solo with random luck. Teamwork is king. Maps are smartly designed, with choke points, verticality, and sightlines that reward strategy over brute force. And with agents bringing unique abilities to the table, each round feels like a mini chess match. You're not just shooting, you're setting traps, creating plays, and reading your opponents constantly. On PS5, Valorant is crisp. Frame rates stay steady, visuals are clean, and the responsiveness makes every shot feel fair. Crossplay isn't native yet, but playing on console gives you surprisingly tight controls and smooth performance. It's competitive, it's punishing, and it's not for casual spray and pray players. But if you want a free-to-play shooter that rewards skill, strategy, and team coordination, Valorant absolutely deserves its place on the list. Marvel Rivals is basically a fast-paced arena fighter that throws your favorite heroes and villains into one chaotic playground, and it works way better than you'd expect for a free-to-play game. Matches are quick, flashy, and surprisingly strategic. Every hero feels unique, with abilities that actually change how you approach combat. Want to dive in with Spider-Man and swing around creating chaos? Go for it. Prefer setting up ranged attacks with Iron Man? That works too. Timing, positioning, and combos matter more than just mashing buttons. What's impressive is how approachable it is. Even if you're new to arena fighters, the game teaches you the basics fast, while still offering depth for players who want to master each hero's toolkit. Plus, multiplayer matches keep things tense. It's unpredictable, fun, and every round can turn in a second. On PS5, it's clean. Animations pop, frame rates stay smooth, and the chaos never feels sloppy. You get the cinematic superhero moments without sacrificing gameplay clarity, which is huge when fights get hectic. Sure, it's free to play with some monetization, but you can absolutely enjoy the game without paying a dime. If you're looking for a fast, fun, and flashy superhero brawler, Marvel Rivals earns its spot as one of the best free-to-play PS5 games around. Rocket League is basically soccer, but with rocket-powered cars, and somehow it still manages to be one of the most addictive free-to-play games on PS5. The gameplay is deceptively simple. Hit the ball, score goals. But once you start chaining aerials, wall shots, and insane saves, it becomes a crazy mix of precision, timing, and chaos. Matches are short, fast-paced, and always intense. Even a single goal can completely swing the momentum. What keeps it fresh after all these years is the variety. You can play casual matches, ranked competitive, or mess around in chaotic modes like hoops or rumble. And with constant seasonal events, new cars, and cosmetics, the game never feels stale. On PS5, Rocket League shines. It runs silky smooth at high frame rates, visuals pop, and load times are practically non-existent, which matters when every second counts mid-air chasing a ball. It's the perfect blend of arcade fun and competitive edge. Free to play, endlessly replayable, and somehow still surprising after all this time. Rocket League easily earns its place as one of the best free PS5 games you can jump into right now. And there you have it. The top 10 best free-to-play PS5 games that are actually worth your time. From the chaotic battlefields of Fortnite and Apex, to tactical shooters like Delta Force and Valorant, to skill-heavy arenas like Rocket League and Marvel Rivals, there's literally something for every kind of player. Some are competitive, some are story-driven, and some are just pure fun. But they all have one thing in common. You don't have to spend a dime to enjoy them. So whether you're chasing high scores, building epic decks, mastering combos, or just hopping in with friends for a few laughs, these games prove that free doesn't mean boring. Jump in, try a few, and see which ones stick. Because on PS5, free-to-play doesn't mean second-rate. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this list, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. There's plenty more gaming content coming your way.